Welcome back. We're just a few minutes away from the second half of our preliminary bout between Perth Roller Derby and Sydney Roller Derby League. I'm Bulldog, and with me is Mike Riot.
That's right, and of course we are here at the Adelaide Showgrounds. They are one of our great sponsors, our lovely home for TGSS. They're especially for making it so nice and warm. Actually, I thought it was going to be so cold, but it's quite nice and warm in here. Of course, also another one of our platinum sponsors is a Rod Train. They're I don't know if you've seen it this morning, Bulldog, but it is pretty impressive. Big LCD screen on the side of a Mack truck, and they are providing us with a great service with the media as well. So thanks again to them for helping us out.
All right, and they're one of the people we are proud to have as sponsors of the Great Southern Slam 2014.
That's right. Also, we've got BSS Light and Audio Visual. They are the year-round sponsors for Adelaide Roller Derby. They help out with all the lighting audio needs throughout the year, not just at TGSS. So we love those companies that help out throughout the year, just not those big events. So it's great to see them sponsoring this as well as Adelaide throughout their season as well.
Oh, I forgot to mention Rydell actually is sponsoring one of our penalty boxes. We're, of course, on track 2.
That's right. Track 2 is sponsored by Underage with Derby Rage. That's right. The Little Adelaide Rollers. They are one of the first junior derby leagues here in Australia. They do a great job inspiring the future of roller derby. I don't know if you've seen them. They are super keen. They love their derby, so much so that they are the sponsor of our track 2 here, and we love seeing the future of derby be in with the current stars of derby. Great to have them and great to have their support.
All right, round 2 gear checks appear to be completed now, so we should be ready to roll very shortly.
That's right. Of course, we've got a 1-point game on our hands here, Bulldog. This is probably the first time you've seen either of these teams skate. How are you enjoying some Australian-style derby?
Well, this game right now has been an absolute nail-biter. The team's going back and forth from the very beginning. We had that first 2 jams. Looked like Perth was just going to run away with it always after 2 jams is way too early to call it. But just in the 3rd jam, just like that, Freda Cox comes back with 19 points, putting Sydney in the lead by 2. And then from there, it's just been back and forth. Neither team be able to get more than about a dozen points ahead before the other team comes behind. Now we've got a 1-point game. Perth just 1 point behind. We've got Sky Johnson,
When it's your first time on the line in a game to pick up that lead jammer, get some confidence in. Let's see how she does as she hits the back of the pack now.
So we've got both teams at full strength. Sky Johnson fighting to the front of the pack now behind Stacy DC and Great Bulls of Fire. Great Bulls of Fire, number 00 on the inside flank, cuts off Sky Johnson, but gets screened out by Wheels McCoy.
4 points on that last jam for Juicy Vengeance.
9 points total for Sydney. That's right. You get that psychological edge. You start out with some momentum, and you try and keep it rolling through the half.
That's right, and especially in these short 20-minute halves in this round-robin style play, having that momentum is really important. So right now on the line for Sydney in the red and black, it is Anna War.
Against number 13, Mary Fagdalin in the blue, and she weaves her way right through the Sydney defense, this time getting lead jammer. Anna War still on her initial pass. It's slammed with a shoulder. It was that Wheels McCoy, I believe, made or was it Claire Lieb? Well, Claire Lieb going to the penalty box for Perth, but Anna War in a one-on-one battle with Stacks, and then the jammer, Mary Fagdalin, knocking out. She came through, completed her scoring pass, and caught Anna War as she was exiting on her initial. Comes back in, dodges around Smacktastic. ACDC.
She's really been doing a lot of work and definitely showing that she is one of the people to watch in this tournament.
And just cut off Anna War. Anna War thought she was free and clear, but the jammers can engage each other anywhere on the track. So she thought she was safe from the Perth. She may have even seen Mary Fagdalen coming up and just assumed she was a blocker and just got creamed to the ground out of nowhere. So beautiful play by Mary Fagdalen.
That's right, and that is the thing. You need to have your head on a swivel at all times, and you just can't predetermine what someone's going to do out there.
Oh,
right?
but we
5-point Grand Slam. So it is the 3-2 blocker advantage for Perth, but it is a power jam situation. Mary Fagdalen back on the track now. Obviously, she picked up a penalty at the end of that last jam, starting the
Fagdalen, both defense and offense, and now around the last scoring pass.
Great work there by Taylor Swift, but Sky doing a great job to get to the outside.
Johnson honors first scoring pass. At 85, so 12-point lead. That provides support for athletes or armchair athletes, which I think you and I might qualify for that.
Yeah, I totally think we do. Of course, they are the proud naming sponsor of Track 3's penalty box. So now back on the line for Perth, that is Posh Slice.
It looks like a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Perth, but Posh Slice doesn't need it. She gets straight up the inside lane, right past Peggy Spew, who was looking to the inside, but left a crack on the outside line. It remains 85-73. That just took some time off the clock, down to just below 14 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as we said, these are just 20-minute halves, so time.
Who are in that's a railroad formation, you might say. But there's Juicy Vengeance picks up lead jammer for Sydney. There goes Perth's jammer, Sky Johnston, completing her initial pass about half a lap behind Juicy Vengeance. Juicy Vengeance glances off of a hip check from Claire Lieb, but gets knocked down, taken out by Wheels McCoy. Calls off the jam from the track, from a horizontal position.
Absolutely.
3 points for Sydney.
Smart play there, getting those points and calling it off. In Adelaide.
We've got Anna brushes right past great bowls of fire. Great bowls of fire. And Husky Hellhound not able to stop her. Easy grand slam on the first scoring pass. Second scoring pass of the power jam. Again, just squeezes past Husky Hellhound. This time runs into Smacktastica, who drives her out of bounds.
Lovely play by Smacktastica, recycling it back, slowing down the momentum, forcing her to hit that back wall, that front wall again. Anna Wall, of course,
6 points. 88 for Sydney, 82 for Perth. And now we've got 11 minutes left.
That's right. Sydney taking a timeout here. Want to slow that momentum Perth was building, and regroup and find that next gear to go to finish off this game. It's timeout Sydney at the moment. So again, another great chance for us to.
Big special thanks from all of the skaters to all the photographers. No one
opportune moment. But
for Perth, Taylor Swift knocked out of bounds, but Freda Cox helping her out inside lane, but a full.
God, this is probably one of the most well-matched games out here. One to beat. Way through the pack there to pick up that grand slam. She again showing that veteran knowledge of how to do it. Oh, lovely apex jump by Freda Cox. Gets through and calls it off.
Freda Cox bringing it home for Sydney once again. Out of the pack, so only 4 points on that second scoring pass, so a 9-point jam, not a 10-point jam. 97-89 with 8.5 minutes remaining. We've got Anna Ward, number 19, against Sky Johnson, number 11 for Perth.
That's right. Sky Johnson initially
second time completes the pass for 4. Anna Ward did get out, so a 9-point jam. So 9 points matching what Freda Cox got in the previous jam.
It is back and forth like a seesaw here. Right now, we are sitting up on the line. Taylor Swift in the red and black up against number 328. That is Melina Peacock.
Taylor Swift dodging back and forth. Oh, gets stuck briefly behind Melina Peacock, but goes to the outside. Now one-on-one with Edward Slaughterhands, and Edward Slaughterhands runs out of room. Clear path for Taylor Swift. She's lead jammer.
That's right. Now at the back, Freda Cox doing a great job holding up Melina Peacock. Still on that initial pass.
Taylor Swift runs into Edward Slaughterhands again, but now it's a clockwise block. Was that a clockwise block call?
That was, but also at the same time, Melina Peacock picked up a track cut. So this is a power jam situation for Taylor Swift. And look at...
Only one blocker on the track for Perth right now, Thorson. There was a slurry of penalties against Perth, but now it's Mary Fagdalin and Wheels McCoy back on the track as well. So a 3-1, and now
it's
Sydney getting in the same boat. Stacy Deasy briefly the only blocker on the track for Sydney. Fortunately for Sydney, they were on the power jam. They had the only jammer on the track. So Taylor Swift now hitching a ride with Violet Van Slam, but slammed to the ground by a shoulder from Mary Fagdalin. Calls off the jam now. Yeah, I think she saw Melina Peacock, or was that Melina Peacock?
It was Melina,
yes, standing up in the penalty box and decides to freeze the jammer.
Yeah, she picked up 3 points, but calling a timeout. It looks like timeout to Perth. So a team timeout. Of course, we'd like to keep thanking our great sponsors, Green Monster Roller Derby. They, of course, they love coming down here. Quadzilla loves being on that world tour. He's a big fan of Australia and has been at all the Great Southern Slams. He's also donated raffle prizes, so a lot of cool prizes to be won here at Great Southern Slam thanks to Green Monster.
And also, we've got 2 sponsors who have donated after-party raffle prizes. If you're not here, that doesn't mean much to you. But if you're here at the Great Southern Slam, there are some raffle prizes available at the after-party. And one of those sponsors, Radar Wheels. Thank you very much. And as well as Faster Skates. Maximize your grip speed and edging with Faster's dual durometer wheels. Thank you to both of those sponsors for after-party raffle prizes. But we got we're back in action. We've got Mother Farger alone on the jammer line in the power start for Sydney.
Yeah, this is going to be just a couple of seconds, though, because it looks like Perth's jammer is standing in the penalty box, almost ready to be released. So she has to make advantage of it. But Perth doing a great job recycling it all the way back around.
That was Candy Goldsmith, Edward Slaughterhands, and Wheels McCoy shutting down Mother Farger. And now both jammers are on the track on their initial passes. Mother Farger against a 2-wall, but a fierce defense from Wheels McCoy. But she gets screened off by Freda Cox, none other, but nevertheless, Melina Peacock starting out in the penalty box, gets out first for lead jammer.
That's right. She took advantage of that scramble at the back between Freda Cox and the Perth player to just take that clean inside line, picks up lead jammer, but calls it off. Again, the clock now is really the third team in this game. It is very important to keep an eye on that time.
Another penalty on the Perth jammer, it looks like. Or no. They're clean. They're clean. We've got the Posh Slice coming onto the track just a fraction of a second before the first whistle. But she gets to be the jammer. Any longer, and Perth would have been skating without a jammer. That's Juicy Vengeance getting lead jammer, but Posh Slice, the jammer for Perth, in the blue getting out second, and now closing the gap, pouring on the speed. Juicy Vengeance hits the pack, slams right past Claire Lieb, knocking down Maggie Snatcher on her way past. Is not going to get all the way through, or not going to get all the points. It's going to be a 3-3 jam.
Oh wow, that is great work there by Posh Slice. That is a classic 101 jamming. You never give up to that fourth whistle. You force the other team to make sure that they have to do all the work, and she picked up 3 points, so effectively making it a tied jam.
0 differential in that jam. Now we've got number 19, Anna War for Sydney against number 11, Sky Johnson for Perth in the blue. Both jammers, though, in the thick of it. But they're both just getting swarmed by opponents.
Oh, this is
now
like
we got Edward Slaughterhands trying to break up the front wall in front of Sky Johnston, but Sky Johnson getting stuck behind Smacktastica. And that's Lucy Furr driving her out of bounds, forcing her to recycle.
Lovely work. It's like a mosh pit out there at the moment. Anna War, though, she is a big fan of the mosh pit, and she gets her way through. It took her so long to pick up that lead jammer, but of course, Anna War had got through with a no pass, no penalty, so she'd be out on that scoring pass. Oh, and it looks like we've got something's fallen off on the track.
It looks like a wrist guard, yeah, possibly. But nevertheless, it was on at the start of the jam. But Posh Slice still on her initial pass, driven out of bounds. Freda Cox gets around Wheels McCoy and Claire Lieb to complete her initial pass and claim lead jammer.
Yeah, that's right. Freda Cox, as I said, one of these veterans here for Sydney. She is putting her hand up in these final stages, going, "I will show you the way. Just follow me."
And now this is one of those jams where I'm wishing we were playing a full length game right now. But of course we're in the preliminary rounds. These are only 40-minute games. So, but right now time running very short, less than 2 minutes remaining in the game. And it's a power jam for Sydney.
That's right. Freda Cox picking up another grand slam there. This is exactly what Sydney needed at this point in the game. And it is the calm head, it's the experience of Sydney that is pulling them through at the moment. Freda Cox picking up another 5 points.
Now we've got Posh Slice back on the track, now completing her initial pass, though.
Oh, look how fast Posh Slice is trying to cut that difference between them.
Tremendous speed on the Perth jammer. Now up the inside, gets past Freda Cox, is going to get all 4 points. Freda Cox calling it off just a fraction of a second too late. So that's going to be 4 points, but there is an official review requested. I believe I'm unclear who is calling the official review.
Right, now if you're watching...
Looks like it's Perth calling the official review.
Yeah, if you're watching and you're a jammer out there, that is how you jam. You never give up. You speed and you keep going because you never know if you can catch them out. You will get the 4 points and take the advantage off the team, like Posh Slice done in this jam and the jam before. Posh Slice really keeping it close for Perth.
But I'm really not sure what Perth is going to be calling an official review for. I mean, I can only think that they're expecting it's got to be a penalty because they cannot be unhappy about the point situation. They got those 4 points. I mean, obviously Sydney got more points, but those 4 points at the end, that was so close. And Freda Cox did not get any, even though she was in the back beforehand. So, I mean, that last scoring pass really worked out in Perth's favor. So I imagine they are looking for a penalty or to possibly overturn a penalty against one of their own teammates. However, I don't think they have anyone in the penalty box right now. So So all it would do is make them is take away one penalty that would put them closer to fouling out. There it was a review of the cutting the track call against Posh Slice, but unfortunately she had already served that penalty, already given up the power jam, so that really would not have helped any. However, you do want to question these calls, and if nothing else, it's good as an exercise.
That's right.
But Mary Fagdalin now jamming for Perth.
She has been
up to the front, one-on-one with Husky Hellhound. Husky Hellhound can't hang on. It's lead jammer to Perth.
Mary Fagdalin doing a lot of work for Perth. not just as a jammer, but in the pack as well. She has really been carrying her team through this game, and she's stepped up in this last jam. She says, "Follow me, folks. We're still in this game."
Taylor Swift jamming for Sydney, still on her initial pass, gets passed by Mary Fagdalin. Now Mary Fagdalin on a little bit of defense, takes her down and drives her back into the pack. She's been reabsorbed. So Mary Fagdalin gets the Grand Slam and is still in position to get another Grand Slam point. Comes in a second time, slammed to the ground by Stacy DC, picks herself back up, runs into Violet Van Slam, fights her off, and Violet Van Slam staying in front of her though. Drives her out of bounds, comes back in clean though, but Violet Van Slam will not give up. Finally, Husky Hellhound runs out of room for Sydney, and it's a second Grand Slam for Mary Fagdalin, but she had to work for it. But look at Taylor Swift, still on her initial pass. Perth's defense hanging on. Someone got it cutting the track.
Taylor Swift getting a track out.
It is Taylor Swift who got the cutting the track. So this is officially a Grand Slam. A power jam. And a third scoring pass straight up the center, right past Great Bowls of Fire. But Great Bowls of Fire catches her in the turn, stays in front. She's backed up or fronted up by Husky Hellhound. Now one-on-one with Husky Hellhound. Mary Fagdalin still fighting, but Husky Hellhound holding on to the last second. Mary Fagdalin somehow staying in bounds on one skate and completes the pass. Only going to get 4 out of a potential 5, though. That ends the power jam. Taylor Swift comes back in, but still on her initial pass. Huge jam potential for Perth, and swiftly up the inside. Another Grand Slam. 19 points for Perth, but the clock has expired. They're going to come up just a few points shy, but what a tremendous effort by Perth in the final jam. The story you can only wonder what would have happened if this had been a full 60-minute game.
Oh, I tell you what, Bulldog, I don't know if I could have coped with a 60-minute game. I tell you what, that was amazing, amazing final stuff. And this is what the Great Southern Slam's all about. It is these last jam moments. And I can't believe this is just the first game of this round robin. This was played like it was a final by both teams, and what a great job.
Right now we're verifying the score. Right now the score is 129 for Sydney Roller Derby League to 124 for Perth Roller Derby. However, we are double-checking the score, making sure there were no arithmetic or maths errors.
That's right. Again. This is gonna help with those points differential as well. We'd also like to thank Haig's Chocolate. They are supplying chocolate to feed the masses here. South Australian chocolate icon and purveyors of delicious wares. And I tell you what, I'm going to need some sugar or something to get myself through today, so I'm going to go hit them out. Is that the final official score? So that is it. Perth 124, Sydney 129 in a nail biter. And I tell you what, Perth can hold their heads high, but more importantly, that's only a 5-point difference. So that's going to help them hopefully get that wild card slot with that points differential. Because if they can pick up a big win in their next match, they're still in with a chance of making the quarterfinals.
Great performance by both teams, and I really do hope that we get to see a full 60-minute game between these two, because that was the most exciting game I've seen in a couple of weeks, to be honest. I've done several tournaments, but I think this was the most exciting one I've done in about a month.
That is right, and that is what the Great Southern Slam brings. It's teams that you don't see get to play each other, and we just watched an absolute classic, and it's just day one. Second round, day one. So lots of roller derby still to happen here at the Adelaide Showgrounds, our proud sponsor, where we put this Great Southern Slam on. This is the third Great Southern Slam, and it's shaping up to be the best so far. So Bulldog, that was a great first game for us. I'm gonna go get some water, maybe head up Haig's, get some chocolate, and get ready for the next game. Good. It's like a final. Oh, is that? Yeah.
Yeah, we can ditch that now.